All right, everybody. GoodStevenings, and welcome to the inaugural podcast of GoodStevenings. I like my name a lot because I think I'm pretty cool, so I like to add my name to my stuff. So here we go. So as most of you know, we've had the quarantine going on for, sorry, I'm shutting the door. What's it been, like past month, something like that? It's been a hot minute. So there have been like lots of things that you possibly could spend your time on. But tonight I'm going to be talking about what I've been drinking during the podcast. I've been drinking a lot of water. Full transparency. I really like water. Water is 1000% great. Filtered water is muy bueno. So I've been drinking a lot of water. But that's essential. So we've been drinking the water. So I want to talk about essentially what alcoholic beverages I've been drinking during the quarantine. I like beer. And I like whiskey. Those are like my two go-tos. Miller Lite is my go-to beer of choice. That's just my daily drinker if I'm gonna have a daily beer drinking. I don't because I can't drink that much beer to get fat. I like being skinny, and so we're gonna keep it that way. But yeah, so I think the first thing that I really like drink is Miller Lite. I've been drinking it since I turned 21. So that's been my like daily beer drink, if I'm gonna have a daily. But I'd also make sure you just leave in the comments what you guys have been drinking, or you can tweet me. Actually, don't tweet me. I don't know my Twitter. I'll link the Twitter in my bio. So yeah, so Miller Lite. I don't know. There's a lot I could say about Miller Lite, and we'll talk about the whiskey in a minute. But I can say a lot about Miller Lite. But I think that the logo actually shows pretty much everything. It is a fine Pilsner. It's reversed on my screen. Sorry, I have a hard time doing that. I think I like it because it's so honest. It's not claiming to be good or great. It's just fine, man. Like, that's all you need to know about Miller Lite is that it's just fine. Like, everything else about the game of Miller Lite, is just, it's not important. The flavor's fine. You know, the calories are fine. You know, I mean, let's be real. Like, drinking is just fine. It is just fine. There's nothing about Miller Lite that lies, and I really, really, really enjoy that about Miller Lite. It's not great. It's not fantastic, and I do like better beers. Like, I don't know. I can't even give you a good example that's not like a local craft beer that you guys probably wouldn't even know. But if I had to like pick just like a popular one that everyone would know, I really like Guinness. Guinness is just like a classic go-to. It's really good. I like craft beers, but as most of us know, those are all pretty local, and it's very rarely that when you hear of a craft beer, that if you don't live in an area, that you're actually even going to know about it. So Miller Lite, man. Miller Lite, that's a Guinness. I haven't been drinking a ton of Guinness during the quarantine, just because of my job. Money's kind of tight, and school. I'm in school, so school also is zapping my money. Miller Lite's cheap, so I'd say Miller Lite, man. Tell me your favorite beer. I'd love to get your favorite beer, not just my favorite beer. Sorry, I'm gonna get my Twitter real quick. What's my name on here, dude? So I've had we'll go on a tangent before we keep talking about alcohol. Twitter has been like, I have mixed feelings for Twitter and social media as a whole. I don't really like Twitter. I don't like social media. It kind of is dumb to me. I haven't always felt that way. I used to be big into social media, but now I quit it for 3 weeks now. I've quit it before, but I've actually quit this time in terms of I don't even cheat. I don't get on it. I don't miss it. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at YoTrapper, YoTrapper. So that'll be my Twitter handle for a while, but that's my Twitter handle. You can follow me on Instagram at GoodStevenings, but I don't use Instagram right now. I don't really even use Twitter. So yeah, go and follow me, tweet me what you like, and I'll actually just check my notifications. So you can tell me what kind of beer you've been drinking. So yeah, Miller Lite, man, it's just fine. I mean, it gets the job done, as my best friend says. There's nothing special about it, but it does get the job done. Not that, I don't know. I don't like to get drunk, but it gets the job done, man. It's pretty good. So we can talk about, I don't have a bottle of this on hand. We can talk about the other thing I've been drinking, and we'll just skip straight to whiskeys. But since I don't have a bottle of this, we'll talk about it first. Dude, I've been drinking Wild Turkey 101. Just not the regular Wild Turkey. It's the same. It's just watered down. I almost said water. Water. Well, where am I from? I'm from the South, man. I drink water. Yeah, so Wild Turkey 101, you can crap on it all you want. It's like it's a really good, like, I wouldn't call it top shelf, but it's a really good middle shelf, man. It's like, it's rye heavy, so if you're not into like a spicier type of bourbon, because I get it, not everybody's into spicier bourbons. I like spicier bourbons, because I think a lot of times bourbons can be too sweet. And don't get me wrong, bourbon's my favorite alcohol by far, like not even close. But sometimes I just feel like I'm drinking vanilla and caramel, and I'm not about that, man. I want a little bit of a kick and a little bit of a burn. So I've been drinking the Wild Turkey. I buy a bottle of that every couple of weeks. It's $27 where I used to live, because I used to live in Louisville, Kentucky, actually. It was like, $20 maybe, 22. When you live, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're big into drinking whiskey, especially bourbon, and you want like a place where you can get it pretty darn cheap, oh man, move to Kentucky. Louisville's great, it's a good city, but bourbon prices, dude, are just so cheap because you're right next to the distilleries. That's actually the really cool thing. So like in Louisville, there's like less of the major ones. Technically, Jim Beam's like outside of Louisville. They have a downtown. They have they have a distillery downtown, and they do one exclusive type of bourbon that you can only get at that distillery. It's good. It's my favorite of the Jim Beam line. That's like like mainline Jim Beam, not like it's the Urban Stillhouse is what it's called, but not any of their like subsidiaries like Baker's or anything like that. I like those a lot better. But if you're just going Jim Beam, the Urban Stillhouse distillery stuff is just like top notch. You can't really beat it as far as Jim Beam goes. So yeah, moved to Louisville or Kentucky in general, man. But yeah, so I've got to visit. When we lived there, we go to distilleries, not frequently, but like, you know, enough. We went to Jim Beam several times. Jim Beam's great. I love Jim Beam. I haven't been to the big distillery. I've only been to the Urban Stillhouse, which doesn't really count in some people's eyes, but in my mind, you know, you still do the tasting. You still get to taste a distillery, like, or stuff that was distilled right there. So it was fun. I've been to Bullet. Bullet is a really fun distillery. It's actually in the old Weller distillery, if I'm remembering correctly. And it's so pretty. It is just like, you like step back in time almost into like a different era. And I could talk about this stuff for hours, but yeah, you step back in time almost, and the people are super nice, and the guy who started Bullet, he has a really cool story. I won't bore you with it, because they will tell you it way better than I can, but you should go there. That's one of the fun places we've been to. I haven't done a tour here, but I've been to the Wild Turkey distillery, and I already loved Wild Turkey. Like, I've loved Wild Turkey since the first time I tasted it. But we went to a Wild Turkey distillery, I think it was, I can't remember if it was this year or last year. Sorry, it's hard to tell, because with the quarantine, just like things have blurred. But also, I was there. It had to be in December. I think it was December. It was December or January. Don't worry about it. Dude, we went to the Wild Turkey distillery. Like I said, we didn't do a tour, but what's his name? I'm gonna show you. Oh no, it wasn't Eddie Russell. The dad of the Russells, which is the guy who like essentially started Wild Turkey after the Prohibition. He was there, and he just was like sitting out signing bottles if you really wanted to. But we went there, and it's right on this river. I don't know which river, and my wife will kill me, but it's on this river, and dude, they have this beautiful porch, and this beautiful, like, it's all glass on one side of the building, and you can see the river, and it's the river that they actually get the water from that they make the bourbon with, and it's like filtered through limestone. Man, Kentucky's just crazy. Like, people say, like, yeah, they're like into their cousins or whatever, and maybe they are in some parts, but Louisville is just, it's a metro. It's a big city, and people actually aren't even that southern, especially in comparison to like where I live now, which is like Tennessee, like West Tennessee and like deep South stuff. It's not actually that southern. People, because of like, you're on the line of Indiana, and then Ohio's like 2 hours north. I mean, you can barely call it southern just because of how many people have leaked over it from non-southern states and like the big metros, not just like little parts of Ohio and Indiana, but like the big metros. So like people have leaked over it, and the culture is very different. But yeah, dude, you should go there. Like if you don't want to live in Kentucky, which I totally get, you should at least go visit the distilleries. It's like, oh man, you just like step back in time because these places are super old and like some stuff's like modernized and stuff. But stuff breaks down. You gotta do something. So yeah, Wild Turkey 101, man. That I think it's like 44% alcohol. So it's not too strong. It's not gonna like singe your eyebrows when you open the bottle or anything. And it's got a rye flavor, so it's a bit spicy, dude. And oh man, and which leads me into my next one that I've been drinking a decent bit. It's Wild Turkey's Long Branch, man. This stuff right here. Yeah, for those of you listening, I just showed the bottle. Can't really see it, obviously. Sorry. The beer's giving me the giggles. Yeah, so you can't really, like, see it. Sorry. I was just thinking about the distillery when we went. So yeah, it's Long Branch, dude. It's Matthew McConaughey's, like, line of Wild Turkey. And I would say it's, I don't know, depending on your definition of top shelf, I think is the hard part. I don't know what your definition of top shelf is. I would call it for like your average bar you go to, it's top shelf, man. Because like your average bar you go to, like, if we're being 1,000% honest, most bars don't have like a great selection. So their top shelf stuff can include stuff like Bullet, which I would call middle shelf. I call Long Branch upper middle to top shelf, dude. It is smooth as the day is long. It's a little bit thin for my taste. I do like my bourbons a little bit thicker, but it's a little bit thin. But it's finished in this Texas mesquite. And so like bourbon has, because bourbon is like the national drink of America. Drink of America. And so there's like actually laws that determine what is and what is not bourbon, what constitutes bourbon. And so to like keep it real bourbon, they like couldn't do a whole lot to make it like Texas, like Matthew McConaughey. And so they were able to like add Texas mesquite to the finish without, and I could be wrong on this, like, I mean, I know I'm pretty right, but you could like fact check me and I could be like messing up at what point in the process it is, but it's towards the end and I'm pretty sure it's during the finish part. And it is just like, it's not too smoky at all. I wouldn't even really call it smoky. It's like, but it does have its smoke in it, and I think it gives it's like some character. And man, right now, it's my favorite. If I had a daily drinker, yeah, dude, that would be my go-to, and it is my go-to. But my wife also loves it, which is the first time that we've really liked the same bourbon, and so I have to be super careful not to drink too much of it because then she gets bummed because we don't have it, and it's not expensive. It's like $40 to $60 depending on where you live. Where we live, it's $40. When we lived in Louisville, it was somewhere in that range. Might even just been like $37 or something, but with taxes, basically $40. So yeah, dude, Long Branch. And like, who doesn't love Matthew McConaughey? I love that guy. I've never met the guy in real life, and you know, he could just be good at PR. But dude, that guy, man, funny. And he seems like a genuinely nice guy. I don't know if he is. Yeah, you know, I've never met the guy. I've never hung out with him. But the guy, he makes good whiskey. And he's a Wild Turkey spokesperson, and they've detailed the process. Seems pretty in depth. So dude, I'll give it to him, dude. I'll give the Texas boy his dues. That guy made some good whiskey. He's a character, man. I could go on about Matthew McConaughey for a while. So I know I'm probably talking pretty fast for most of you guys. I do talk pretty fast, and hopefully as we go on, I'll go slower. So yeah, I'd say Wild Turkey 101, that's my go-to right there. There's like cheap stuff. If I can't afford anything else, that's what I'm going for. Long Branch is my daily if I can like just afford it. You know, it's like $40. But sometimes you have $40 to blow on bourbon because you pay bills, dude. Dude, we pay bills. We're in the middle of a pandemic, dude. Like, you can talk about the stimulus thing all you want, but I don't know when I'm going back to work for real, so yeah. So I'd say Wild Turkey 101, that's my go-to. Long Branch would be my go-to if I can always afford it. I have another one that I can't, if you guys are watching, I can't show you because I drank it all. But I didn't buy it during the quarantine. I just had some during this period. It's actually my favorite bourbon of all time. And it is Baker's. Not Maker's Mark. Baker's. And I'm not knocking Maker's Mark. Maker's great. But Baker's, it's a single barrel. Every single bottle is single barrel. Like, you cannot get, like, a batched Baker's. Baker's just, it's aged 7 years. It's single barrel, dude. I say dude a lot, but, man. Dude. It's just... It's amazing, man. I don't even know what to tell you about it. It's so great, dude. But every bottle is a little bit different than the last bottle because it is single barrel, which is actually super cool to like know that like what you're drinking, you'll never have this exact flavor again. It's close. Like everyone's super close, and in reality, most people, including me, if you did like a blind taste test, I'd be like, man, I'm drinking the same thing 3 times. But I like the idea, and I like to think that I've drank enough bourbon now, but I don't know, man. Who knows? Baker's, though, number one, I didn't have a lot of it when the whole thing started because once I buy it, it's going fast. I'm drinking a glass a night until that bottle's empty. Because that's what you do. That's what you should do. And I'm giving you a lot right now. Maybe okay with scotch. It's pricey, so we'll exclude super pricey stuff. But I'd say with bourbon, man, bourbon is meant to be drank. It's not meant to sit on a shelf, dude. Like, you can sit it on your shelf. I don't care. I've got a bottle that's been on there for like a year, almost 2 years now that we're saving for a special occasion. But I don't know, man. You gotta drink bourbon. I think that's like what I love about bourbon. It's not too pretentious. And I know that like, and I might even sound pretentious to me talking about whiskey, but whiskey drinkers sometimes can be like craft beer people where there's like, man, they're not bad people. I don't know. They're real life, dude. Just drink your stuff and shut up about it, man. You like what you like. You don't like what you don't like. Just, I don't know. Just have a drink. So I think bourbon's meant to be drank, and that's what I really love about Wild Turkey and Baker's. Is like, I don't mind spending $60 on a really good bottle of bourbon, and I don't mind drinking it. I think that's like the big difference for me and my scotch and my bourbon. It's like, man, I'll throw down the bourbon and I'll drink it. I'll throw down the cash and I will immediately pop the bottle. Except like I said, I do have one bottle. It's like they release like every year a new batch, and me and my wife bought it. It was like, hey, let's open this up on special occasion. We thought it was going to be further down the road, but I think we'll wind up opening it up when the quarantine's over. But yeah, so if you got bourbon, drink it, man. If you got them, drink them. So cheers. So yeah, we talked about and I'm a bit on a Wild Turkey kick. I've also drank a lot of Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is, good middle shelf. Nothing wrong with it. I love Basil Hayden's. Basil Hayden's is great. I haven't had a bottle of that in a while. I say that like I've drank it during the quarantine. It's been a minute since I've been able to get Basil Hayden's. And it's not that I don't like it or don't want to buy it. It's just half the time, actually right now 100% of the time, there's just something else I'd rather spend my money on in terms of whiskey or bourbon. But yeah, Basil Hayden's is great. Love Basil Hayden's. You should try it. It's smoother. It's thinner too, in my opinion. Some people might disagree. I've always just thought of it as this is the wrong word for it. It's the word I'll use. Dude, it's kind of light. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking about like calories, and I'm not talking about like diet or anything. I'm just like, when you drink something like, you get that light roast coffee from Starbucks, that's kind of like how I equate it. Like, there's nothing really that much different. It's just like a little bit thinner maybe. And people, like I said, I don't know, you can disagree with me. I'm not an expert. I'm literally just, I just missed making entertainment for people. So, because I used to do stand-up before we get to my last 2 whiskeys that I've been drinking, and then we'll talk about something different. But yeah, I used to do stand-up comedy for a long time. And I think I did 3-4 years, not 2-3. 2-3 would be an understatement. But I did 3-4 years, had decent success. Not movies or anything, but I had a manager and an agent and stuff. But I quit. Basically, I didn't love it. I love performing. Don't get me wrong, I love entertaining. But stand-up life, especially when you're married, dude, yeah, it's rough. You're always just doing shows, and one night you're in front of 300 people for couple $100, and the next night you're in front of 12 people that you drove 3 hours to get there, and you get paid $20, and that didn't even cover gas. So I don't know. We'll talk about stand up on a different podcast, but tonight we're still talking about whiskey and beer. So yeah, I'd say those are my bourbons that I've been drinking. Like I said, Buffalo Trace. I don't have a bottle of that. It usually goes pretty quick. Oh, I did have a bottle of Woodford. I wanted to mix it up. Bought a bottle of Woodford Reserve. And not bad, dude. It's been a minute since I'd had Woodford. Probably since I lived in Kentucky, actually. It'd been a hot minute. So, because I've lived in Tennessee for 3 years. My wife knows, but I don't. Yeah, I think 3 years. And I'd had it there because, like, when we lived there, bourbon's so cheap, and I made a lot more money there. So I just every week buy a new bottle. So I always have like Woodford sitting around, or like Four Roses, and of course I had like Jim Beam sitting around too, because they have like their double oak's not bad. I love their double oak. Their bond is not bad. Because you can crap on Jim Beam, but most people when they think Jim Beam, they think the white label, which is it's like $15 for a fifth. Ugh. I mean, that's pretty cheap. It's not bad. It is the stereotypical bourbon. So I get why people crap on it, because I crap on Jack Daniels, which again is stereotypical, but in reality it's actually not that bad. I just all I can think about is being 21 and buying Jack and Cokes. I really don't like Jack and Cokes anymore. Drink your whiskey like an adult, right? Just straight. I don't care. You can drink however you want. A piece of ice, dude. Angel Rare, I think is the name of the company. They make a good bourbon, but I know a lot of people would be upset about this, but I like it with an ice cube in it, dude. It just changed the game. I didn't really care for it without the ice cube, but I got that ice cube. It was everything I ever wanted. So I know I've been all over the place. And you can tweet me at YoTrapper on Twitter. That'll be my Twitter handle for now, and we'll see how long I keep it. Tweet me your favorite bourbon or whiskey, or your favorite beer. I don't care. Or if you like other stuff, I've been drinking some gin. Normally I'm what did I normally drink? A Bombay Sapphire is my normal gin. I watched a lot of MASH growing up, so I always thought gin was cool, so I do drink some gin. But recently my wife's big into Tanqueray, so I have some Tanqueray in the house. Been drinking some Tanqueray. I don't know. I think that's all I've been drinking, in terms of different types of alcohols, like beer, some gin, and a decent bit of whiskey. Let's see, what else we're drinking. Oh yeah, I actually have a bottle of this. No, we'll go. This is my newest one, so I'll do it last. Me and my wife bought Macallan 12, which is not. I mean, it's not top line Scotch. It's top shelf, man. If you go anywhere except a really nice bar, it's top shelf. Actually, I have a funny story. So, back in post-college days, I'm back in college, but original post-college days, my friend, he's like, dude, you gotta drink Jameson, or Jameson, or however they say in Ireland, but he's like, you gotta drink Jameson, it's really good. And I was like, oh man, it's fine, it's a decent Irish whiskey, I like it. And then one day, though, I go over to his house, and because he was moving away, and we were giving him a big party, someone bought him a bottle of Macallan 12, which he'd been talking about nonstop. And Russ, you know this, you talked about this nonstop for forever. He was talking about Macallan 12. He's like, dude, Macallan 12, Macallan 12, Macallan 12, or Macallan, however you want to say it, but I say Macallan. And he's like, you got Macallan 12, you gotta have Macallan 12. And if you can get some Macallan 18, get some Macallan 18, or I think 18's next up. I think it's 12, 18, 25. I could be wrong on that. You can fact check me on that, tweet me. He's like, yeah, I get some Macallan 12, dude. And so at his going away party, his best friend and actually the drummer for the band I was in at the time bought him a bottle of Macallan 12, and he poured everyone a glass. And I took a sip, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is next level good. And it's different. Now I have definitely different taste now, so I wouldn't say it's next level good in comparison to Baker's or something, or Booker's. But at the time, I'd never had that kind of scotch, because it's in a sherry cask, so you get a lot of fruit flavors, and at that time I probably just drank a lot of rum and coke, so I had bad taste. Not that you have bad taste if you drink rum and coke, I just like sweeter things at the time. So, but he gives us Macallan 12. There's 25 people here, dude, and this is a $100 bottle of scotch, and he's just pouring up everybody a glass, and my mind's blown. So, fast forward, actually 5 years, and we're in Disney World, and so I don't know how I feel about Disney World. It's one of my favorite places to go. If I'm going to vacation, I like to do it one of two ways. I want to do super authentic, or I want to be the trashiest tourist you've ever seen. Not trashiest. I don't want to think about it. I just want to show up. You put stuff in my face and I eat or drink it. and I ride your rides. So that's like, those are my two extremes on vacation. But so we were in Disney World with friends, and we go to my favorite bar in Disney World, which is called Hole in the Wall Bar, which is in Disney Springs. You should totally check it out. It's literally just a hole in the wall. They have some beer that you can't get anywhere else. But other than that, it's just kind of like a small outdoor bar area that you buy stuff. It's connected to another restaurant. Check it out. I like it a lot. So I had a couple of beers there, and we were meeting some friends, and they want to go to this place. I can't remember the name of it. But there's like a speakeasy in Disney World, in Disney Springs. It's not real. Like, it's not, you're not legally buying alcohol or anything, but you do have to like go down and like through these weird doors, and it's like, it feels like a speakeasy. But I was like, man, I want something good to drink. I was like, looking at the menu, I saw that they have Macallan, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna get some Macallan, man. Like, that's what I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking me some Macallan, dude. And so I ordered this Macallan. I almost ordered a double, but I'm so glad I didn't. But I ordered a glass of Macallan neat, which just means nothing in it, no ice or anything, no water. And I was like, Allie, you gotta try this. Because I'd forgotten that, like, she wasn't at that party where I tried the Macallan 12. And I was like, Allie, you gotta try this. And her mind's blown. She's like, oh, this is the best glass of whiskey I've ever had. Like, different than bourbon. Like, she couldn't even, like, really put into words how she felt about it. And then we got the check. And the check was $40. Or, not $40. It was $45 before tip. And $35 of that was my glass of Macallan, which normally I'd say it's like a $15 to $25 glass or something, but in, you know, vacation spots it's up. But I was like $35, and so I didn't take too much heat because she liked it. If she had not liked it, I would have taken some heat that night. But thankfully, I like introduced it to her. So we have all that to say, we have a bottle of Macallan, which we actually keep in a cute and a fancy little decanter. And I've been drinking that very sparingly. Every now and then I will pour like the tiniest of sips. And Macallan 12, dude, try it out. I haven't had 18. I haven't had 25, I think is the next one. I haven't had that either. Probably not gonna for a while. I can't imagine myself spending that much money on a glass of scotch because it's super expensive, dude. And if you, I don't know if you've had it, tell me about it. I'd love to hear actually what you think about Macallan. Especially like the different forms, different like your levels of it if you've had the different ones. So yeah, that's stunning. That's stunning. I had too much beer. No, that story is always a little bit funny, and I love telling it. Spent $35 on a glass of whiskey, unknowingly. Like I might consciously want to do that one day, but just a funny time. So yeah, Macallan 12, we have that. It's been a fun thing to drink every now and then. We're getting kind of low, so I definitely like that. The rest of the bottle is hers. But I've gotten big into whiskey during the quarantine, as you can tell, because I'm doing a whole little podcast on it. And so I heard about this one called, okay, so you guys are gonna murder me in the comments on how I'm saying this. I say Kolila or Kolila, but don't quote me on how to say that. I literally just like was watching YouTube videos of like different scotches to try to have different like flavors, because like Macallan, however you want to say that, is very fruit. It's very fruity. It's super sweet. If you drink enough like straight alcohol, you can tell when stuff's sweet and when stuff isn't sweet. And so it's got, man, it tastes like you're eating like dried fruit. It's pretty good. But so Kolila, this is my bottle of Kolila. I don't think they really do the 12. It's just age 12 years. Man, that stuff will give you lung cancer from sniffing it. Like, I'm gonna sniff it right now. Hear the cork. Dude, it's super good. It is so different than anything I've ever drank before, because I've never really been into scotch. I mean, like, everybody's drank Johnny Walker Black and Red, but I've never really been into scotch. And like, then I have Macallan, which is just totally different. And dude, this thing is just smoke heavy, bro. It is. Sound like a frat, dude. I've never been in a frat. I actually don't like frats. If you ever been in a frat, hit me up, tell me what frat you're in. I have friends that are in a frat. I had a friend that's president of a frat. It's kind of cool. I've been to frat parties, party with frats. I've actually been made an honorary member of a frat just so that during the hazing time, which I'll tell you about that later. It wasn't not real hazing. It was making kids do push-ups with no shirts on, and no, that's not real. Nothing bad actually. I'm like, do some push-ups. But anyway, Kolila. It's pretty good, man. It's taking me a minute because, like I said, it's so different than anything I've ever had. the smell is honestly the hardest part about it. I don't like the smell, straight up, and I might like the smell in 6 months. Who knows? Because people change, and the more you're accustomed to something, and more familiar you get with something, the more you are to like potentially able to like it. And so like there is like acquiring a taste, and I know that like some people would say like, oh, I mean, if you have to acquire the taste for it, then maybe it's not worth it. But I'd say that's wrong. I've acquired taste for good music in my day. Like I don't think jazz is very palatable to a lot of people, but if you get into it, it's really good in the long run. So is classical music. So that's what I'm doing with this Kalila right now. But the taste is actually pretty. It's the lightest whiskey I've ever owned. I mean, like, it's almost clear, but it's not. Like, it's just like tinted brown or tinted whatever color you want to say whiskey is. It's very different, man. Very different. I'm into it. This will not be one of those things that I just like empty the bottle in 3 weeks, like I could do. I mean, I could empty a bottle in a week, but like being responsible, especially school, I have like 40 pages of writing to do in the next 2 weeks. But like, I'm not going to empty this bottle in 3 weeks. I think this bottle might honestly sit on my shelf for a hot minute. But you should try, dude. That stuff will singe the eyebrows off your face. It'll put hair on your chest. It'll give you lung cancer. It'll do all the crazy things. But in the end, if you can get past the smell, super good. My wife got it for me for my birthday, which has actually not happened in the future. But she gave it to me early because I bugged her because I really wanted my birthday presents early because I'm impatient. As you can tell by how fast I'm probably talking. So yeah, those are the whiskeys I've been drinking, and I've been drinking Miller Lite and some Guinness. I actually bought a pack of Dos Equis. I was like, I could drink some Dos Equis. One of my friends drank it the other day. I saw him drinking it. I was like, I could buy a pack of that. That was a regret. If you like Dos Equis, I mean, that's fine. It's totally fine. I couldn't get on board with it, dude. I don't know. I bought some Corona. Oh, yeah, I drank a 6-pack of Corona. Not all in the sitting, because I can't do that anymore. But I was drinking some Corona. Corona was fun. Had some lime in it. Did that thing. Did as a joke, because we're in the middle of the coronavirus. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've been drinking. And I think you guys should tweet. Yeah, tweet at me. I don't want your Instagram messages. Not yet. Tweet at me on YoTrapper at Twitter. And then tell me what you've been drinking, dude. I'd love to actually hear about it. And if you tell me about something cool, I might buy it. I might drink it on a video or a podcast or something. I know that some of my friends have like done what I've done, and they've started getting into nicer stuff. And then some friends have done the opposite, where they're just buying like $5 things of vodka, and they just take a sip of vodka every now and then. Oh, actually, before we leave the drinking topic and go to the next one. My voice is cracking through hymns. I had this Trader Joe's scotch, and I can't remember if it was 10 years old or 12 years old. It was one of the two. I think it was 10 years old. And surprisingly, dude, it was super... I'm not going to say it was super good. I liked it a lot. I can't say that according to like whiskey standards that it was great. But I really liked it. Shockingly, it hit just right. Something about it was just kind of perfect for me. So I don't know if you can find it. It's hard because Trader Joe's like they slap their label on things, and it's not always the same thing, especially when it comes to their alcohol. Dude, I dug it a lot. I would buy it again, and it was like $20, and it was better than most of the $20 bottles of bourbon I bought. So I'd recommend it. Like I said, I can't. It's like I said, it's 10 years old. Had a red label or something. It's like a white label with red lettering. Trader Joe's is their own thing. I mean, it's a real scotch from somewhere, and they just put their own label on it and sold it for cheaper. But you should try it out. If you find it, you let me know. Tweet me. And I'd definitely love to drink it again. Tell me where you found it at. So the next thing I'd like to talk about, probably incredibly quickly like I do with whiskey, is what... I don't know which one to do first. So first we'll do what I've been watching during the quarantine. Because, let's be really... Other than school and work, because I do work remotely, which normally would be great, but the remote work comes through people coming in the office. So actually my work has been cut back, even though I do work remotely. So I've been working. I've been doing a lot of school. My major is philosophy, and so that involves a lot of writing. But so I've been writing a lot. But I've really just been playing video games and watching TV. And video games are not important enough for me to tell you about. If you like video games, cool. I've been playing Call of Duty. That's pretty much all I play. That and Animal Crossing. But TV shows, I'll list you some TV shows, and this will be the short one. And you can tweet at me and tell me what you've been watching during the quarantine. I watched McMillions, which was like the documentary on the McDonald's Monopoly game scam. That was pretty interesting. I like it a lot. I like business stuff, so that's really fun. What else I've been watching? I'd seen seasons 1 and most of season 2 of Westworld. So finished season 2 of Westworld, and then I've watched to current of season 3 of Westworld. I have watched Masked Singer. That's releasing weekly. I was watching My Hero Academia, but they're not releasing episodes right now because of the quarantine. So there's no... Well, I watched the dub. Yeah, shoot me. But they're not making dubbed episodes right now. I think the Japanese is finished. No spoilers. If you tweet me a spoiler, no lie, I'll block you. I just block you, man. I don't even care. I've been watching really crappy rom-coms from like the early to mid 2000s. Actually, that's my like guilty pleasure. I watched all the real American Pie movies. Those be real. There's those other movies that are just like soft porn, but I watched the original American Pie movies. Those were, you know, that you're in a bad place mentally and emotionally, and you're like, oh, that was a sweet film. No, American Pie's not sweet, but I feel like it was kind of sweet. I've watched The Change Up. I've watched Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey. I've watched that movie like 3 or 4 times since the quarantine. That's my favorite rom-com of all time. Super great if you like rom-coms. So yeah, honestly, like, I could have taken this time to watch super epic things because I have time to watch 3-hour movies now. Who has that kind of time? I do. But I haven't been doing that. Instead, I've been watching 2 really cheesy rom-coms. And I can't even tell you all that I've watched because half of them are like, I can't call them indie, but they were like failed rom-coms from like the early to mid 2000s that like nobody saw, but Hulu was like, oh, that'd be cheap to stream, and so I've just been watching those. So that's what I've been watching. I'm sure you guys have been watching way better things than I have, so I'd love to hear, like I said, just tweet me at YoTrapper and tell me what you've been watching, because I'd like some suggestions. I've run out of stuff. I might watch Breaking Bad next. But the next thing I want to talk about, after you guys tweet me all the stuff that you're doing and watching, so we're going to talk about what we wanted. Sorry, I've got responses to ask my friends what they want to do. The first thing you're going to do once this whole coronavirus quarantine is over. So one of my friends says he's going to streak, which I say is unlikely. He will not. He is married with family. That will not happen, but LOL, funny, I guess. Clever. And another friend, what did he say? He said that he is going bowling. Okay. Yep, not doing that. If you like these things, that's totally fine. But I'm just going to give my own honest, cynical opinion on this. And he says he'll see a movie. That'd be fun. I've been wanting to see movies like in person. Something about going to the theater, getting some popcorn, spending way too much on a drink. $6 for a soda, dude. I don't care if I get a free refill. $6 for a soda? I have a friggin' 24-pack for $6. I don't know, probably 12-pack. I don't know what they sell those things. I don't buy soda anymore. I really don't drink soda anymore. Drink water and alcohol. Let's see. Oh, he's gonna go to restaurants. Oh man, yeah, that'd be fun. Another friend's going to restaurants again. He's gonna go to a restaurant. That is the first thing that I'm gonna do when all this is over. I want to go to my favorite. It's a local restaurant / bar. Called Mulligan's. Very stereotypical. It's not really Irish in the slightest. They have some Irish dishes that are not, they're Americanized. But it's my favorite place, has my favorite bartenders, my favorite servers and waiters. Yeah, I think that's actually going to be the first thing I do. Like, I don't care if any friends show up. I would like to see friends. I have seen some friends that have been like mutually quarantined with us. So yeah, I'd like to see some friends again. But I think honestly, I just want to be around like a group of people again. And I think I'll probably just go to Mulligan's. So tell me what you guys would like to do. What you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do. Because I'm going to go to Mulligan's. I miss Chili's, not the food, but Chili's has this frozen strawberry margarita, which I know I could still technically get, but it's cheating. If I'm not there and I don't get that chips and salsa, it's not worth it. Bottomless chips and salsa at Chili's. You should go get it. It's like $4 or $5. It's super good chips and salsa. It's not real. Like it's not authentic. But you're going to Chili's. Come on, man. Get over it. But yeah, they have this frozen strawberry margarita. But they use real fruit puree. Which, I'm all about that real. You know what that good. It's not good, man. But really, probably buy stale strawberries and dump like a cup of sugar in it and just mix them with some tequila and some ice. I don't care. I don't care, man. I'm going to be real with you right now. I don't care what they put in that freaking frozen strawberry margarita. It's amazing. And they claim you get 2 for 1. No, that's a lie. You can get 1 for 1, or you can get 2 for the same price. That is 2 for 1, but there's not really the option to get the 1. Like, I don't even know if 1 is on the menu. They're like 2 for 1 frozen margaritas. I don't think there is and they probably technically do. But if you open that little physical menu, you will not see a single solitary frozen margarita. It's going to say 2 for 1. And this is conspiracy theory now. My conspiracy theory is there's not a 1 for 1. It's literally just 2 for 1. Like, I think you just are paying for 2 margaritas. That's my theory. Because it's kind of expensive for 2 for 1, so it's not like you're getting a deal. Like, you're not getting a cheap margarita, but it's good. Have another drink. So yeah, I miss restaurants, dude. I miss people. Oh, I miss people so much. Yeah, I don't have any. It's hard to put into words because, like, in reality, if you like list out what I can't do anymore during the quarantine, it's not that big of a list. Like, you just talk about it and you're like, oh, well, I miss going out. I miss seeing people. Okay, cool. There's things I miss. Yeah, so I miss going in restaurants. I think I'm going to go on Mulligan's first day back. I'm not going to throw down, but I'm going to buy a pitcher of Miller Lite, and I'm going to split it with someone. Probably not my wife because she hates it. And I'm just going to drink some beer, man. Drink some beer, have a good time with my waiters and waitresses, and tip them well. That's what actually we should do, man. You gotta tip your servers. I think there are 3 things you don't cheap out on in this world. You don't cheap out on doctors, you don't cheap out on tattoo artists, and you don't cheap out on your waiters. Doctors are pretty given. Tattoo artists are, because if they're cheap, then they're probably not good, man. That stuff's permanent. I don't care about the laser removal. That stuff hurts worse than the tattoo does, from what I hear. And it's expensive. Just spend the money right the first time. Get a good tattoo, dude. That's all you gotta do. Look at this one. It's a crappy tattoo. I don't regret it, but I wish I'd spent $20 more on it. Because tattoos this size, they just charge you for basically breaking the needle in the 10 minutes that it takes to do it. But I could have went to literally anybody else, and they would have done it better for $20 more. I didn't know. I thought the tattoo parlor was better than it was. That's beside the point. And 3, don't cheap out on your bartenders, dude. Yeah, I mean, I had a bartender back in Kentucky. I won't say his name to protect him, and because I'd like to get this again. He gave me refills on beer. Free? No, that's illegal. You can't give people free alcohol. But he did. And it's because every now and then he got a really big tip. And most of the time the tips didn't come when he gave me the free beer. But sometimes they would, dude. You gotta be nice to your servers, man. You never know what they're going to do for you. When I worked in the service industry, I was a lot more inclined to just give you something if you're just halfway nice about talking to me, dude. That's all you got to really do, man. Be a nice person and accept that sometimes people take advantage of you and will be mean to you. But then the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion. I'm not saying you're just going to get free stuff left and right, but 1, you feel good about yourself because you didn't berate people. And 2, you get free stuff at restaurants every now and then. It's not frequent. It's not every day. You're not getting free stuff, but at least you're liked. And every now and then, dude, that free venti whatever you drink at Starbucks comes rolling your way, or the bartender says things like, "Next round's on me, man. Get whatever you want." And then, of course, be nice about it. Don't order top shelf, but I don't know, get another beer. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think going to a restaurant is going to be the first thing I do. like I said, it's going to be mulligans. But tell me if it's a chain. Tell me what you guys are going to do. See if anyone else responded. Those were the three. I mean, bowling. I don't know. I don't really feel like smelling like an ashtray. Because when was the last time you've ever been to a bowling alley and didn't smell like an ashtray for the next 3 days? Because all those places were built during a time when smoking indoors was socially acceptable. And they just, because they will not replace the carpet. Wood holds a lot of smells. And they probably honestly never vacuumed. If you work at a bowling alley, you can totally correct me. But I don't think bowling alleys vacuum. I don't think they use air freshener. I think in reality, bowling alleys just smell like smoke and will always smell like smoke until we demolish all the bowling alleys that were made during that era and then build new ones. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't mean who bowls anymore. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go to a restaurant, man. Go grab a couple of beers. Continue actually doing what I've been doing, just minus people. I haven't had any people to hang out with. And I think that's the best part about drinking is drinking with friends, having a good time with friends. I don't really advocate getting drunk, but everybody likes to loosen up, have a good time. So that's what I'm going to do. And actually, I think I'm going to leave it there. I've talked really fast, so I've covered a lot of topics in one night. But just go have fun, man. Try and ride it out. Be patient. Use hand sanitizer. Do all the things that the people tell you to do. And have something good to drink, dude. Tweet at me. YoTrapper is my Twitter handle. If it changes, I'll let you know. But thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. I will talk to you next time. And until next week, good Stevenings.